Hello, good people. It's Grandpa Hickory. Welcome to my video. Hey, listen, don't let people on the media or whatever, I'm talking about social media, get you angry. There are people, factions in our nation that are working behind the scenes. They call it the deep state. And they are hoping to divide Americans against Americans in violent encounters. And they want to pit everybody against everybody. You know, people back in the 1970s and 60s and 70s and 80s, people didn't care what political affiliation you were. We were all Americans. We all got away. Didn't matter what party that you voted for. But times have changed. And they use this as a tool to control the masses. And right now, what they want is total chaos and disruption in the United States of America ever since Donald Trump was put in office. Because they do not want peace in America, and they do not want all that they've done since John Fitzgerald Kennedy was murdered November 22nd, 1963 in Dealey Plaza, Dallas, Texas, USA. They've been working steadily to divide and control the American people. They started force busing in school. They gave minorities rights over whites, hoping they could start a racial war in our nation. So they could declare martial law and come in and eliminate everybody that votes against them. Yes, that's true. You no longer have privacy. Your voting record, all the cities everywhere throughout the United States were infiltrated with Democrat judges and Democrat prosecutors. Now they're changing over to Republican to hide their affiliation, but they are one and the same. And they have been working against you, conservative Americans, ever since John Fitzgerald Kennedy was murdered. They used to teach this in school, but when forced busing started, our education was reduced to third world level and third world country level, and you could not debate people, because if you debated a minority student, they would attack you. They would get up and start swinging and attacking and hollering that you were a racist. And people, this is what we went. This is why I quit school in 1968. I went to W.E. Griner Junior High School in Oak Cliff, Texas, when they pushed in the busing big time, and our neighborhoods were quickly overrun by them, and it started what they called back then white flight. But I had to quit school. Many students did. When Martin Luther King was murdered in 1968, there were students that destroyed furniture. They did damage school property, and this was held out of the news. Yes, the news media back then was taken over and controlled. As soon as John Fitzgerald Kennedy was murdered, research it, look at it, search it out. I was there. I'm turning 74 years old. I could tell you stories that would curl your toes. We couldn't even go to the lunchroom. The black girls would put their feet up on all the chairs when we tried to go over there and sit down. And they'd tell us, this seat's taken. Well, you'd turn to walk off, and other black students would knock your tray and your food out of your hands all over the floor. And there was nothing you could do about it. We couldn't even go to the bathrooms because of the hatred. And they said that we are racist. And all we've been doing ever since 1960, ever since Kennedy was killed, is we've been backing up and getting out of everybody's way. People, we're supposed to be all Americans. And listen, I know a lot of black people in the community that I live in right now, and I see them at the senior center, and I talk to them. They let me know up front. They said, hey, I want to tell you something. I said, yeah. They said, we know you like Donald Trump and everything. We want you to know we all voted for Trump. I said, well, that's good. He said, wait a minute now. He said, but I'm going to tell you something. If we don't get minority rights over whites, if we don't get to keep that right, we're going to go back to voting Democrat. I didn't say anything. I walked on off, people. You can't argue with people like that. They can hit you, but you can't hit them. If you hit them, you're racist. You're bad. If they hit you, you deserve it, because you people are the one that put their people in slavery. We didn't put their people in slavery. Their own people in Africa put them in slavery. And what Abraham Lincoln should have done was sent every one of them back to Africa at the end of the Civil War. But you see, Abraham Lincoln tried to do the right thing. He let the Democrat Party come back into the government of the United States of America, which was a fatal mistake. They immediately contracted with John Wilkes Booth and other people to have him murdered. And they told John Wilkes Booth, the actor, they told him, be sure that you state openly, revenge for the South. So the people in the South that were already beat down and destroyed by a horrible war got the blame for President Abraham Lincoln's murder, because they didn't want John Wilkes Booth to tell them who is the ones that arranged for his murder and paid for it. That's why John Wilkes Booth, the assassin, was murdered. People, this is history. They used to teach these things in school until forced busing. John Fitzgerald Kennedy was murdered. They come in, put their government in 1964, and they began forced busing. They destroyed our education system. They lowered it down to a third world country level. We can no longer debate in our school, because if you did, you were openly attacked because you're a racist. So this is the kind of things I went through in school, people. I'm turning 74. I could tell you things that I saw. I tried to go to the bathroom, and they had white students dipping their heads in the commodes in the bathroom after 4 students would use the bathroom in the commode. Friends, I was there. I went through that. I went through that. That's why I quit school in 1968 and went and got my GED at Capitol High School in Dallas, Texas. And I was forced to move out of my neighborhood because there were so many of those militant people that come in and attack people. They even killed people in our neighborhoods. So, but we're all said that we're the racist people. It's a crying shame. But listen, we are all Americans. Don't let things divide you. Keep on keeping on. Keep your trust in God. Pray for them that despitefully use you. And don't be caught up in hatred of other people. Just because a lot of them are militant doesn't mean they all are. And people, we got to get along. Either that or go into civil war. I'll see you on the next video. God help Charlie Kirk's wife and his 2 little children. God bless his 1-year-old son and his 3-year-old daughter. They don't have a daddy now. That is so sad, people, but don't let that divide you. They want you to hate the left, and they want the left to hate the right. Don't do that. Violence begets violence. Hatred begets hatred. Get along with your fellow man as much as within you. Live peaceably with all men. That's in the Bible. See you on the next video. Goodbye from Texas.